Chapter 12. The Last Chapter. "Hello?" Rob's mom said after a few rings. Rob was instantly worried. "Hi, Mom, it's me. Have you been crying? You sound funny." He waited until early the next afternoon to call her back, after he had gotten her message from Sue. "Oh, Rob, thank God you called me back." "Why? What's wrong?" "Rob, honey, I need you to do something, okay?" Her voice cracked like she was about to start crying again. "What is it?" There was a long pause, and then she said, "I need you to come home for a visit." He became irritated and let out a sigh. "I can't just swing by for a visit right now, Mom. I recently started a new job, and besides, now is not a very good time for me to be going out." "I know it's a lot to ask, but it's very important, and I'll pay for it." "Why are you being so insistent? Just tell me over the phone." "I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't." "This is ridiculous. You can't expect me to drop my whole life and come running for whatever has popped into your head. You have no idea what I've been dealing with here, but a lot has been going on. How did you get this number anyway? I was going to call and give it to you and let you know that I've moved in here, but I didn't get a chance yet. The last time you called from there, it put it in my cell's memory, and I saved it. I'm so glad I did. I would have had no other way to reach you. I'm sorry if you were upset about not being able to reach me, but you can't overreact like this by demanding I come home right this instant to pat you on the head. What the hell is going on with you? You're never this needy." "I can't tell you over the phone, sweetie. I really can't. I wish I could." "Why are you crying? This better not just be something stupid like you are off your meds. I'm sorry to be insensitive, but you're acting like someone died, and your parents died a long time ago. All you have is me and your estranged brother and Stan." "Oh, Mom, it's not Stan, is it? Is he all right?" Rob thought he heard a quick whispering after he finished speaking. He didn't make any of it out. "Rob, Stan is dead. He was killed," she cried out in pain. "He was killed?" "Yes, that's all I can say." "What do you mean that's all you can say? What the hell happened? Mom, tell me what's going on." "There's a lot going on, Rob." She was beginning to sound angry. "Please just come home now. You can book a flight on Expedia and get a cab over here. I'll pay for all of it." He didn't know what to say. He began to actually consider going. Maybe he really did need to. Then he began to worry about how she would feel when she got a look at him. In the general public, he could wear a hat and sunglasses and keep his lips covering his teeth when he talked. That worked on strangers who just looked at him like he was an oddball, but it would not work on his mother. She would look closely, and she would be scared. He finally asked, "Do you have any friends who can give you some support right now? Can you stay in the house? You're not homeless now, are you?" "No, Rob, I'm fine with all of that. Stan put me on the deed with rights of survivorship a long time ago. I'm in his will, too. He said that even though we weren't going to get married, we could at least have the responsibilities of spending the rest of our lives together. He was a good man, Rob, not like your father," she cried out again. Her emotional pain sounded like it was affecting her physically. Rob hoped she wasn't losing it altogether. He was hardly the person to look to for solid ground. His world was crumbling beneath him, but so was hers, and she sounded more desperate. "I'm so sorry this happened," he offered. "Me too. I haven't been getting out much, and I don't really have any friends. I have some acquaintances from my job at the zoo, but that's about it. Stan was all I needed." Rob thought that she had been so right about that last part that he almost said, "Tell me about it," right out loud. Luckily, he still had enough of an internal filter to keep that thought from accidentally and tactlessly spilling out from between his lips. Her and Stan had practically become hermits with their emotionally codependent relationship keeping the outside world at bay. "I'm so sorry for your loss, Mom. I really am. Can you tell me a little about what happened?" "Not over the phone. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so mysterious. I just can't say why you need to be here and right now, but you do. Please come home, Rob. Money is not a factor. Do you want my credit card number?" "No, you shouldn't have to," he sighed. "Can you afford a last-minute flight out without it? Do you have enough money to come and let me reimburse you?" He sighed again and said, "No." "Then take my card information, please. Money is not an excuse for you not to come. I need you here, and I don't ask you for much." He was not going to argue with her. She was in a state of grief, and if she needed to lash out and say things to make herself feel better, even if they were untrue, he would just let her. "I can wait while you go get it," he said. "I have it right here." "Oh, okay. Let me get a pen and some paper. Can you hold on a second?" "Sure." "Sorry, I'll be right back." He went and grabbed a pen out of his room that was on Michelle's old desk. He tore some scratch paper out of a notebook, too. Sue was sitting quietly on the sofa and watching TV while it was on mute. She was trying hard not to eavesdrop. On his way back to the phone, she asked Rob in a whisper if everything was okay. He just shook his head at her. She nodded that she understood that it was not. She had inadvertently overheard enough. He picked the phone's receiver back up and let his mom know that he was ready for the information. She gave it to him. Name, billing address, card number, expiration date, and even the CVC numbers on the back of the card. She'd asked him if he'd gotten it all. He said, "Yes." "Good," she replied. "Please use it to get the next available flight out, promise?" He couldn't think of a way to say anything against that. He knew he might risk losing his new job, and he had worries of his own about what was happening to him, but he could not share any of that with her. She had more than enough on her plate. So he just agreed. He would handle all of it. "Promise," he said to her. "Thank you, Rob. I'm so sorry to ask. I really am." "Don't worry about it." "And Rob?" "Yes?" "When you come, be careful." He heard a click. The connection had been lost. "Damn cell phones," Rob muttered to himself. "That was real good, Anna," her ex-husband said to her. "Nice try, but he doesn't get a warning." He had been holding her arm behind her back in a half Nelson that he could painfully turn into a full Nelson by sliding her hand up her back if she said too much. He'd been holding a fistful of her hair in his other hand, and every now and then he had given it a good tug, just a reminder of who was in charge. He had let go of her hair and grabbed the phone away from her when she had tried to warn her son, but not before she had accomplished her assigned task. Rob had taken the bait and was coming. "I already told you," he said to her. "I'm not here to hurt him." "Then why is he coming? He was just a little boy when he did what he did to you, and you deserved it. You just want to have another little chat?" she asked sarcastically. "We do need to have ourselves a talk, yes," he replied. "Come on, you did good, but it's time for you to get back in your chair." She collapsed in defiance on the floor. "Don't make me gather you up," he warned. She had spent the last few days tied to a chair from the dining room. She didn't know exactly how many days it had been, but the sun had definitely come up and gone down a few times. When she had turned around and first seen him standing there, she had screamed herself hoarse and almost fainted in an instant. She had been terrified, but she hadn't recognized him. It was strange in hindsight that she hadn't recognized him, because it was like he had stopped in time. He looked almost exactly the same. He had a few more lines on his face and looked a bit more weathered, and had gained a little weight, but that was about all. His hair hadn't even grayed or thinned, and it was styled just as she remembered it. If she had recognized him when she turned around that stormy night with the candle in her hand, she would have been more than terrified. He had grabbed her and tried to calm her at first by saying that it was just him, Dan, as if he were a welcome familiarity. She had screamed some more, and he had shaken her and told her to shut up. It was strange, but the instant terror did begin to fade. That was then. She had no idea of what to expect from what was coming. She wished that it had just been some arbitrary burglar who had killed her on the spot to get her valuables. That seemed like it would have been much easier. She had tried to run when he pulled a gun on her. It was a revolver. She had frozen in her tracks. He told her to rip up one of the sheets, and she had asked why. He told her just to do it. She had gone to the desk in the bedroom that had been broken into and picked up a pair of sewing scissors. He told her she better not. She said it was for the sheet. She shredded it at gunpoint and handed him the tatters. He took them and draped them over his shoulder. Then he grabbed her by the arm and escorted her into the rest of the house. They bumped into a few pieces of furniture in the dark, but he did not seem to mind. When he discovered the dining room and the chairs at the table, he was thrilled. He told her to take a seat. She did. He set the gun down, out of reach, somewhere in the dark. He told her he really didn't need it to stop her, but it was extra insurance. She asked what he wanted, and he told her to shut up again. She wished that the police would come and check out the security alarm, but none ever came. The neighbors were too far away to have heard it. It was a nice neighborhood, and seclusion was one of the benefits of living in it. That benefit had become quite a disadvantage. He tied her to the sturdy oak chair with the swaths of sheet. She tested the fabric, the chair, and the knots, but none of them would give. He bound her arms and legs and even tied a long piece around her midsection and the chair's back. He had tied the sheet around her wrist and then to the chair, as if he had practice at doing that sort of thing before. He dragged the chair into the living room with her in it. It scraped along the tiled floor. He made his way into the bathroom and then went into the kitchen. He returned to her with some tap water in a glass. He told her to drink it. He put it to her mouth. It tasted bitter. She asked what he did to it. He told her he found her Valium in the medicine cabinet and had crumbled up a few to knock her out so he could rest. She refused to drink any more, and he showed her the gun again. She drank it, a bit relieved to leave her body and the situation. He lay down on the sofa and passed out. He was asleep before she was. Stan had previously left a message on the machine saying that everything was okay for the moment with his dad and that he was on his way back. He asked why she wasn't picking up. She waited for him to be her knight in shining armor. Dan was keeping an eye on the phone and the messages. He was waiting for Rob to get in touch. He asked where Rob was, and she wouldn't say until he had slapped her around enough for her to tell him that Rob was in California. She was thankful the slap stopped. Dan said he was not going to go all the way to California, and that she was to call Rob and get him to come back to Florida. She refused. He showed her the gun. She left a message after he had dialed the number she gave and listened to the answering machine confirm that it was in fact Rob's and not anyone else's. The voice on the machine in California said his name was Rob. He handed her the receiver to leave a message. She had to do that a few times. Dan began to get angry with her and asked what kind of mother she was to not be able to get her son to call her back. She asked what kind of a father he was, and she braced for another slap. Instead, he just dismissed the remark. Stan came back home earlier in the day and ran up to her while she was tied to the chair in the living room. Dan had tied one of the sheet segments around her mouth to gag her. She shook her head at Stan as hard as she could, but before he could reach her, a loud boom filled her ears. She saw Stan's chest explode, and then explode again as a second shot was fired from behind her. Dan had hid around the corner of the hallway and just shot him without warning twice. She screamed through her sheet gag. It did no good. Tears streamed down her cheeks and were absorbed into the linen. Dan closed the front door of the house and dragged the body into the nearest bedroom. It was Stan's, the one she shared with him more often than not. Dan did not seem too concerned with the trail of blood the body left behind. He made no effort to clean it up. He told her that he would do the same to her if she did not get Rob and his little ass back home, and pronto. He screamed in her face that she better try harder to hurry things up before they got a whole lot worse. She was convinced. She had always thought of Dan as bad news, but not much more so than a step up from the average petty thug. She was wrong. He had gotten much worse. His breathing was hectic, but he genuinely did not seem to care that he had just ended a life. He did not even mention anything about possibly getting caught. He was a dangerous man, of the worst kind. She murmured through her gag, and he yanked it out of her mouth. She said that she had a cell phone in her room with another number to try. He went and got it after she told him which room it was. He returned with the cell, and she instructed him how to turn it on and scroll through the last few incoming calls. He said that he would wait until she had calmed down to let her make the call. He watched her like a hawk. There was no way she was allowed to dial. She knew he would kill her too if she screamed out for help when she did get to speak to anyone. As much as she wanted to escape, she felt more scared of dying and being dead, and he told her that if she cooperated, he would eventually let her go. He would have to at some point. It couldn't go on forever. She agreed to comply, with all of it. He said he would get her another Valium to calm her. He gave it to her in pill form, and she willingly sipped the water to get it down. She welcomed it. He stroked her face and told her that she hadn't let herself go too much. She just looked away at nothing. When the pill had time to fully kick in, he undid her straps. He said he would let her make the call afterward. She said it would be rape, even if she didn't fight. He said he didn't care. She was his woman first, and if she had been whoring it out to that dead geek, then she was entitled to give him some. He took her into the bedroom where Stan's body was. They had to step over it on their way to the bed. She would not look at it. Dan looked over at it from time to time while he was on top of her. He whispered in her ear that she would make the call when he was done, but first things first.